5 on your side starts now with a weather impact alert.
Right now, a wind advisory is in effect as we go from record warmth back to winter reality. The drastic change has led to severe storms to the south and east of St. Louis. Thanks for staying up late and joining us. I'm Mike Bush. Temperatures are dropping more than 50 degrees in a matter of hours. Ameren is reporting power lines down in North County due to strong winds, leaving about 1,300 people in the dark right now. Meteorologist Lance Blocker is also tracking those damaging winds overnight and how cold it will feel by morning. Lance.
Yeah, Mike, we've still got some of those winds out there right now, but check out the top wind gusts for us here across the area this afternoon. Over 50 miles per hour at Spirit of St. Louis Airport there, St. Louis Lambert International Airport there, 51 miles per hour, still 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts across the region, still dealing again with some of those wind gusts here too. Check out this picture of this shelf cloud out ahead of this storm in Illinois from Chris. Maybe a little bit of rotation with this, somewhat of a lowering there as well. So strong storms move through along the leading edge of that cold front as it pressed east across our area, ushering in that very cold weather for us here this evening. And then tomorrow, that's well off to our east right now. Zooming back to our region, it produced 6 tornado reports outside of our area. There are also a few tornado warnings earlier. Those, of course, have expired with that system moving far eastbound. They'll send out crews to check that out later on tomorrow to see if anything actually touched down there. For us tonight, we're still dealing with the wind gust wind advisory through 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. And then the morning wind chill, Mike, they're going to be in the single digits across the area. We're going to break that down. And of course, your extended forecast coming up in about 10 minutes.
And tonight, officials in central Illinois believe 2 tornadoes touched down south of Decatur, damaging homes and knocking out power to hundreds of residents. The twisters ripped roofs off multiple homes, uprooted trees, and scattered debris throughout a neighborhood. No serious injuries have been reported. The National Weather Service says it will have crews out tomorrow to survey the damage to confirm the tornadoes. Right now, emergency warming shelters are open in the city of St. Louis. 290 additional beds are being made available through Tuesday morning. There are 3 walk-up shelters. Walk-ins are welcome between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. People needing shelter can call the United Way at 211. Wintry weather across the country is affecting holiday travel at airports across the country, including Lambert International. We just checked the flight boards, and there have been more than 100 flight delays at Lambert, thousands nationwide. There were also a handful of cancellations. And today was expected to be the busiest day at Lambert for the Christmas travel period. The TSA predicts more than 22,000 travelers total will pass through security checkpoints. It's recommended to check with your airline and the airport's website before heading to catch your flight. Remember, when we're in a weather impact alert, you can stay up to date on the free 5+ streaming app. Just search KSDK in your smart TV's app store. You can also text the word weather to 314-425-5355 and we'll send the latest forecast to your phone. Tonight, a suspect in a deadly stabbing is in custody after a standoff in North St. Louis. St. Louis County Police were called to a home on Jenny Drive off North Hanley just before 11 this morning. An 81-year-old woman was found stabbed to death. About 4 hours later, a man wanted for that stabbing was spotted at a gas station near Natural Bridge and Union in North City. St. Louis City Police called in the SWAT team when the man refused to get out of his pickup truck. They used beanbags and flashbangs to end the standoff.
We were able to clear out pedestrians in this area, and then we brought in our SWAT team, which used less than lethal tools to get that suspect into custody. And he is being taken to the hospital for evaluation just to be checked out because less than lethal tools were used to safely get him into police custody.
Investigators say there's no indication of a relationship between the suspect and the victim, but anyone with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers at 866-371-TIPS. You will remain anonymous. One man is dead after a deadly shooting in South St. Louis. Homicide detectives are called to Minnesota Avenue near Delore Street in the Mount Pleasant neighborhood around 2 this afternoon. The man's identity has not been released. Police have not shared any details about any possible suspects or a motive in that case. Tonight, St. Louis police are also investigating a deadly crash in South City. One person was killed in the multi-car crash on Watson Road near the intersection of Bradley Avenue. A witness tells 5 on your side at least one other person was injured. Tonight, an investigation is underway in Crawford County after a woman was killed in an apparent dog attack. This happened last night inside a home in Bourbon. That's about an hour southwest of St. Louis, down I-44. Police tell 5 on Your Side 2 dogs are now being held by animal control. They're also awaiting an autopsy to confirm a cause of death. Well, hours ago, a church congregation in North St. Louis, devastated by the May 16th tornado, held their last Sunday worship service of the year. 5 on Your Side's Laura Barczewski sat down with the pastor of Centennial Christian Church for an update as demolition nears completion.
This church in St. Louis County is not where the congregation of Centennial Christian Church started 2025. But it is where they're ending a very challenging year after the tornado tore through their home church in North St. Louis.
We lost a member. We're an older church, so we've lost members approximately every 6 weeks since then. The community is having a very difficult time. We're doing our best to be present there.
For many Sundays after the storm, they've been worshiping here at their sister church, Florissant Valley Christian.
Especially when you've lost your building, to be able to kind of go into some place that's comforting and hospitable. It's been healing for us.
But they haven't forgotten about their former place of worship in Fountain Park.
We're in the process of demolition, so within a month or so, the building will be down. The plan is to rebuild on that same land, but it's an old building, and so we have to go through that whole process, but we're excited about rebuilding.
Reverend Dr. Dietra Wise-Baker says while the congregation and the community at large is not in the same place, closing out the year together is important.
We have to stick together. I think there's a lot of forces that would like us to divide, to be disunified, but we're one city. What hurts one of us hurts all of us. What hurts one neighborhood hurts all neighborhoods.
And as they look to the next year, there is hope for a bright future shining through.
We have an ongoing feeding ministry that we're conducting still right now during the week, and so the plan is that we'll rebirth those ministries in new and exciting ways with new partnerships, with new vitality.
Reporting in St. Louis, Laura Barczewski, 5 on Your Side.
And the pastor says in the coming months they'll be starting their capital campaign to build a new church in Fountain Park to once again be an anchor for the neighborhood. Well, just hours from now, the St. Louis Board of Aldermen will meet to set a special election to select a new sheriff. A judge removed Alfred Montgomery from office last week, ruling on the side of the Missouri Attorney General that he willfully neglected his duties. Montgomery currently sits in jail in federal custody on a separate charge. It's expected the special election will take place March 3rd. Applications for interim sheriff are being accepted through 5 p.m. on Friday. Right now, former City Police Chief John Hayden is serving in that role. Well, when 2026 begins in 4 days, new laws will go into effect on both sides of the river. In Missouri, the minimum wage will go up from $13.75 to $15 an hour. However, a repeal of a voter-approved law this summer eliminated further cost of living increases based on inflation. Over in Illinois, 26 new laws will go into effect. They include strengthening requirements on locking up firearms in homes where children are present, and making it easier for authorities to remove squatters from homes, and requiring employers to provide paid breaks for nursing mothers to pump breast milk.
I have a life that's really productive in my own community that I once was a problem in.
From prison to purpose, an ex-felon using his second chance to make a difference for others. A game plan to ring in the new year safely, the step you can take right now with your phone.
And winter has returned. Tomorrow's highs will range in the upper 20s to lower 30s, and we'll be dealing with wind chill values in the single digits tomorrow morning. I've got your full forecast coming up.
Making a Difference is sponsored by Midwest Bank Center.
There's a man in St. Louis whose name used to mean trouble. Now it means something entirely different. In tonight's Making a Difference report, how one father's second chance became hundreds of second chances.
Always good to see you, Mr.
No doubt,
yes,
no
sir,
doubt.
yes.
At a St. Louis barber shop, the cuts are close and the connections closer.
Barbershop always have been our sacred place, man.
But today, it's not just a fresh cut these men are leaving with. It's a challenge. and maybe a second chance.
How's everybody doing? What's up, brothers? How's everybody doing?
Because sitting in the center of it all is Reginald Slaughter.
It's hard, man. It's really hard.
A man once known for trouble, now better known for turning it around.
He became highly aware that he needed to make a change, and he began to walk in that change and make a difference.
How you doing? Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Reginald Slaughter's second chance didn't come in a flash. It came in the silence that follows heartbreak.
And the second time I was in prison, I lost my mother, who always believed that I could do something more than go to prison. So it flipped the script and something in me.
He served time for selling drugs, but the harder part came after getting out. He wanted to be in his daughter's life, but her mother wasn't so sure.
I was still a little rough around the edges. I had, in the streets, so she didn't want no parts of that, right?
You do not know what to expect from one day to the next.
That's when he heard about a 6-week parenting program at the Fathers and Family Support Center.
What about the people that's in your life?
What he thought would teach him how to be a better dad ended up teaching him how to be a better person.
They talk to you about your childhood, who raised you, your relationship with your mother, your relationship with your father, the lessons you learned, what it is to be a man.
It didn't just change his outlook, it changed his outcome.
When people change.
Because once Reginald stopped running from his past, he started walking toward his purpose.
He was willing to be a responsible man in the community. He was willing to work on himself and continue to grow.
He went from student to volunteer to full-time employee. He's now the support center's community outreach coordinator. And with new recruits, his criminal record isn't a liability, it's his credential.
Hey man, I'm an ex-felon. The program was created by an ex-felon. But you're a father most of all, and that's important.
It's how he reached Marvin Davis, a young man drifting who only needed someone to draw a line.
It's his loyalty, it's his dedication, and it's his spirit on the community, and plus being an active father.
Marvin went through the program, rebuilt his life. He's now a full-time dad and makes a living making people laugh as a full-time comedian.
She said, Father God, bless his license plates, that when the police get behind him, allow the letters to scramble.
Marvin's set ends with laughter.
I said, Pastor, I still need my gas money.
But his story started with someone who believed in him.
He's one of my mentors. He is one of my mentors.
How the children doing, man?
Children are doing good, getting bigger.
These days, Mr. Slaughter in the streets, as he's known, hopes to lift men up, not lead them astray.
Hey, brother, have you heard about Father Support Center, man?
He's not trying to outrun his past. He's rewriting it.
That's the greatest feeling in the world for me. I have a life that's really productive in my own community that I once was a problem in, and now I'm a part of the solution. He said the best barbershop in the city, baby. I said, okay.
The best barbershops offer more than a cut. They offer wisdom.
We got to do it because we men and human beings that love our children.
And on this day, it was delivered by a man who proves every day that your worst chapter doesn't have to be your last. And Marvin Davis, that comedian Reginald mentored, he was named the Support Center's Father of the Year and threw out the first pitch at a Cardinals game. And a reminder, if you know someone making a difference for others, let me know by email at mbush@ksdk.com. Well, 2025 has been a memorable year, and 5 on Your Side was there to cover it all. And right now on the free 5+ streaming app, you can watch our most memorable stories of 2025. That's a special. You can download the 5+ app to your smart TV device. Just search KSDK in your app store. Meteorologist Lance Blocker rejoins us now with the weather impact forecast. And boy, big changes today, Lance.
Yeah, no doubt. We've already got most of those changes in place now. They will only enhance in the overnight hours thanks to a cold front that is now well off to our east, continuing to press eastbound, closing in on the eastern half of the country. But for us here locally, things have quieted down in terms of rain, but not so much in terms of wind. We've got still wind gusts upwards of 20 to 30 miles per hour, pretty widespread. This was the temperature today at the airport at 2 o'clock, 78 degrees. That's the all-time high temperature for the month of December at the airport. Again, at 2 o'clock. By 6:45 p.m., we were 35 degrees there at the airport. So that cold front certainly delivered. You could see it move west to east across the region here this afternoon. The leading edge of that really brought in some strong winds, upwards of 40 to 50 miles per hour at times. For right now, we're in the low to mid 20s, but we're headed to the upper teens overnight tonight. With those strong wind gusts forecasted tonight, we're going to keep that weather impact alert through tomorrow morning. In addition to that, the morning wind chill will be very low, close to zero, even under that in a few locations. Here are current winds right now, of course, out of the northwest, 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts, pretty widespread. St. Charles up to 40 miles per hour, same for us here in downtown as well. Mount Vernon, 29 miles per hour. Salem, Illinois, there at 30 miles per hour. So again, the wind advisory stays in effect for us here overnight tonight. Wind gusts up to 45 miles per hour. Check out our wind chill values overnight into the single digits in most locations at 2 by 6:15 tomorrow morning. Many locations under the 0 degree mark. So certainly dangerously cold weather if you're not protected from that overnight first thing tomorrow morning too. We see some improvement by the late morning hours. We warm up into the upper 20s by about 3 o'clock. We'll top out right around 30 degrees tomorrow, even though the sunshine will be fairly abundant across the area. We'll slowly moderate in temperatures. Our average high this time of year is 42 degrees. We'll go to 38 for Tuesday and then mid 40s for us here on Wednesday. The forecast, thankfully, is quieting down. Things will be way more relaxed over the days ahead after today. But again, tomorrow, rather, the morning hours will stay in that weather impact alert, mainly because of the very cold conditions and the wind gusts. Wind gusts should die down below about 40 miles per hour by 5 or 6 a.m. tomorrow. I expect that wind advisory to be canceled right after that mark. Then as we look ahead to Wednesday night, that's New Year's Eve, temperatures falling into the low 30s, maybe upper 20s for a few locations. So it should be a nice night, a few passing clouds, otherwise mostly clear. Then the rest of the week on into next weekend, no major systems moving through, but temperatures still on the chilly side with highs in the upper 30s to lower 40s.
I'm Paul Cook, your traffic guy from today in St. Louis, and it's time to go on the move. New Year's Eve going into 2026 is almost here, and if you're celebrating in St. Louis, planning a safe ride home should be part of the plan. Uber and Lyft both let you schedule rides in advance, and experts say that's one way to avoid getting stranded on one of the busiest nights of the year. Both apps allow you to book up to 90 days ahead using Uber Reserve or Lyft's Scheduled Rides feature. Booking early can help prioritize your request and may even lock in an upfront price before surge pricing spikes. Just keep in mind, scheduling doesn't guarantee a driver, especially around midnight when demand is at its highest. You may want to book slightly before or after the peak hours to improve your chances. Also, check for possible New Year's Eve promo codes. Local partners sometimes offer discounted or free rides to promote safe celebrations. Bottom line, book early, have a backup plan, and don't drink and drive. Getting home safely is the best way to start the new year. Stay safe out there. Paul Cook, 5 on your side.
Pushing for peace. President Trump's big meetings this weekend in hopes of ending 2 conflicts. Tonight, 1 pilot is dead, another critically injured after a mid-air collision of 2 helicopters in New Jersey. This happened this morning about 30 miles southeast of Philadelphia. The fiery wreckage landed in a field near the small airport. The FAA and NTSB are investigating the cause. Just hours ago, President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky wrapped up peace talks at Mar-a-Lago. The 2 leaders expressed optimism over a potential peace plan to end the Russia-Ukraine war. President Trump says while there are still some, quote, thorny issues to resolve, progress is being made.
I really believe we're probably, Mr. President, by far closer than ever before with both parties. We had some times when he was close and President Putin wasn't. Then when President Putin was close and he wasn't. You saw that in the White House. But I think they both want to see it happen.
Today's talks come on the heels of a deadly weekend attack on Ukraine by Russia. President Trump said he planned to speak with Russian President Vladimir Putin by phone this evening. And the president plans to meet with another world leader tomorrow at Mar-a-Lago. He will sit down with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to discuss the next stages of his plan to end the two-year war in Gaza as the first phase of the peace plan is about to conclude. Sources say that Netanyahu is expected to discuss Iran's expansion of its ballistic missile program. Brigitte Bardot, a French film star turned animal rights activist, has died. Known as one of the best-known sex symbols of the 1950s and 60s, Bardot took the world by storm with her risque film roles, which shocked the Hollywood establishment. No cause of death was provided, although she was hospitalized last month. Brigitte Bardot was 91. Having a ball in 2026, the summer sequel for a New Year's Eve tradition. With only 3 days left until we ring in the new year, people in New York's Times Square said good riddance to 2025. People wrote down their regrets and pet peeves in the past year on a Broadway show-style ticket. Then they ripped it up and saved the stub for 2026. And in about 72 hours, the world-famous Times Square ball will drop to ring in the new year. This year, it will be lit up in red, white, and blue to celebrate America's 250th birthday. 2,000 pounds of patriotic confetti will also be set off. And for the first time, a second drop will be held on July 3rd, the night before Independence Day. Winterfest in Keener Plaza is hosting a New Year's Eve Neon Night celebration. The family-friendly event runs from 4 until 8 Wednesday night. There will be food trucks and princesses and superheroes. They'll visit, there'll be live music as well, and fire dancers. Fireworks will cap off the night 4 hours before midnight, so you can have plenty of time to get the family home safely. And Lance has one final update on our weather impact alert.
And tomorrow morning, again, windy and cold, temperatures in the teens with wind chill values below 5 degrees possible. Tomorrow's highs in the upper 20s to lower 30s. We moderate out the rest of the week. Temperatures topping out in the upper 30s rather to low to mid 40s. No major systems moving through the area, just chilly now, Mike.
All right, Lance, thanks. And there you have it. 5 on your side at 10, a late edition. Of course, we're always streaming on 5+. Don't forget to start your day with Today in St. Louis. That begins at 5 a.m. And Sports Plus with Frank Cusimano is next.